Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard, live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. A fun 3-hour program lined up today. Of course, we'll react to last night's first round NFL draft. We'll look forward to round 2 tonight and some bets that might be worth adding to the old portfolio. We do have great guests on the program today. Sal Paolantonio coming up in about an hour. Jonathan Davis on the program as well with some best bets in hockey today. Steve Wiss on the program with his best bets in soccer overall. We'll get into the playoffs a lot today as well for tonight and the weekend. Today's Major League Baseball card as well. Last night's draft, and look, that thing could have gone 100 different ways, and it was absolutely drunk. That thing was loaded. And we have a lot to say about it on today's program, no doubt about it. First of all, before we get into the shockers, I found it absolutely fascinating, like over the last 2 weeks and then last night leading into that number 2 pick overall, what was going on in the betting market with what the Jets were going to do at number 2. Was it going to be David Bailey? Was it going to be Arvell Reese? And moments ago before the show started, I took a screen grab at 5:13 p.m. Pacific time last night. It was roughly 5 or 6 minutes before the Jets officially came on TV to make their pick, or Goodell did anyway. And at the time, Arvell Reese was almost a $17 favorite. The straddle, go check it out at Mitch Moss Radio on X. The straddle's going to look goofy. I will explain what I was told about that earlier today. But how many times does the betting market get something like this wrong? It's a rarity, Paulie.
No kidding.
And
Yep.
As somebody was tweeting before, when it looked like Reese was going to be the play, most national media had Bailey as a number 2 overall pick. That would have been the biggest flop or mistake made by the media since Mac Jones / Trey Lance to the 49ers all those years ago now.
That's right. I think the first 8 to 9 picks is a great example of why sports books should be more aggressive booking this. Number 1, if there's a trade, everything gets blown up. We took some bad beats. And number 2, it's someone, David Purdom can do his article on this and research. Someone thought they had the information, was lied to, whatever. But every mock, most of the mocks had Bailey going there, but the Reese money wouldn't stop late. And it's right before they're ready to pick, too, which you would think that has to be right with all the steam. And it's wrong in spectacular fashion. And sometimes you have to ask more than one question. I never asked my Giants source, what if Reese is there at 5? Well, he was number 1 on their big board.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he was going to be there. But then, okay, the Giants get rewarded by just sitting there and falls right into their lap, which...
It's an auto play.
Yeah. So that's that. I didn't think he'd be there, but that blew things up, even though they had Reese number 1 on their big board and they loved Francis and had him top 5 on their big board.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, all good points, but it was surprising what happened, and you don't know what information somebody had that they thought they had the answers to the test, but it was completely wrong.
Sure. And I will say that I tracked it before it was taken down on one particular prediction market last night, and they did that in the teens, I want to say, with the picks where I'm looking again, they're all of a sudden gone. You can't bet the exact pick coming up. But a lot of times, there was not a runaway favorite that all of a sudden, they all know this. It all happened like last second, all of a sudden it flipped when the pick, and it was knowledgeable, like the Tate thing at 4. Yeah. I didn't see anything at all where all of a sudden, with like minutes to go, he took off and was like 1,000 or 2,000 favorite, even higher than that.
Yeah, these guys did a great job keeping secrets.
Yep. And so DraftKings and other books were also offering the exactas, right? The top 5 in any order. And I talked to Julian Edlow last night and this morning about it, who's been on this network many, many times. He works at DraftKings. And I said, do you have any idea what that exacta would have paid? And he said they went as high as 160 to 1. They did not have that even on the board for an exacta. So it would have been a 5-player parlay. Guess what it would have paid?
Yeah. Well, I saw Tate to the Titans 27 to 1 and Reese to the Giants 20 to 1. So hit me.
3,000 to 1.
Yeah. Oh my God.
To get the first 5 in order, a parlay at DraftKings would have been about 3,000 to 1.
Yeah.
That's how they had like no chance. Nobody saw it coming. It was an absolute haymaker. And people were floored last night with what happened there. 3, 4, 5. Not necessarily 3, I guess, because that steam was real and Love got to like a plus 110 short shot. when the Cardinals were on the clock.
Was it an outlier, or can we expect this on a regular basis? Everyone's keeping secrets, and right before the draft, we didn't even know the number 2 pick.
I think that this can be a regular thing because maybe there's something to this. And I threw it out there earlier this week. Has there been a mandate by the NFL telling teams this is going to be tight-lipped? Otherwise, we're gonna throw the book at you. Nobody's leaking anything, and they didn't want anything. They reached out to the Kelshys of the world and said, "Don't post this stuff." They did not want prediction markets to post it last night. So I'm guessing with that knowledge, maybe there was like a memo, an internal memo that we haven't heard about yet, where they just like Goodell's like, "Look, I didn't want gambling ever." They were absolutely anti-sports betting up until it passed, and they could make money on this thing in 2018, and then after that.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's going to be the new norm, where we have no idea what's going to happen leading. And if certainly you might have an outlier on a team that's a big-time leak. But if not, maybe these teams are going to abide by their decision and their mandate, and we're not going to know what's going to happen.
You need to let the reporters do their job, though. So we played that cut yesterday with Glazer. He had the information. That would have helped bettors, and I think it would have added more juice to the draft that there's going to be a big trade in the top 10. He had the information. He said, well, I'm not allowed to say it till they're on the clock. But then they have it that the Cleveland's and Kansas City's moving up. So I don't know why they won't let him break that news day before.
Is that what it was, or was it the Simpson going 13th to the Rams?
I think that was more, he had that 13 minutes early. But I would think it was more, so there's going to be a trade when someone's on the clock, and it's going to be a big trade. Yeah. And that was certainly what happened in the top 6. The big surprise was Simpson, but then again, Schrager had that, an hour before we were still on the air, an hour before the draft, that he said that Simpson's going in the first round. I guess we should have connected the dots because he has the background and the friendship with the Rams and McVay, but still, I threw it out there. You thought I was drunk? I still couldn't bet that and get there. It's like, why in the hell would you take Simpson at 13? That's asinine.
It's one of the dumbest picks I've ever seen. And I've watched this draft since I was like 12 years old. It's one of the worst picks I've ever seen. Nothing against the kid. I'm not saying that Ty Simpson, I don't know. Look, I mean, just like all of you listening and watching the show right now, I've gotten quarterbacks right. I've gotten quarterbacks wrong. You're not 100%. You get some of them, you're right. You know what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
I don't know what Simpson's going to be. And maybe he turns out to be the best quarterback in the draft. Who knows at this point? But for the team that is the shortest shot on the board to win the Super Bowl, and a team that was the highest power-rated team in the NFL last year and will be the same again this year, one of, if not the highest power-rated teams in the entire league, to take a quarterback at 13 overall when Stafford's coming off an MVP season, and you have a guy, and I watched the Rams every second of their games last year because I thought they were going to win the whole thing, and I won a lot of money to them if they won the Super Bowl. You had a guy like Reuben Bain on the board to take, and you could not rush the quarterback to save your lives in the playoffs. And you passed on Reuben Bain for a guy who might not play for 3 or 4 years. I could not believe they did that.
Well, number one, trade down.
Yes.
He's going to be there. Number 2, how about you get a wide receiver for your Hall of Fame quarterback? You could do that too and listen to Charch. But he's the 4th fewest starts by a first-round pick in the last 25 years. And this is, McVay is always enthusiastic.
Always.
Rah-rah, long, thoughtful answers. He was pissed. Here's McVay afterwards with the media about what he thought when they took Simpson.
I'll keep that between us. We'll see. He's going to compete with Stetson.
Okay, right away. Four rapid-fire questions and short answers. What we talked about, I'll keep between us. And this was a Les Snead pick. And this is, you're not going to be here. I'm thinking about the future. Why are you thinking about the future? You're one play away from the Super Bowl. Your quarterback has 1 or 2 years left.
Yep. He's peppered with questions. He gives him 2 seconds on every single response. And prior to that, when Les Snead was answering about Ty Simpson, I mean, McVay is this far away from the mic.
Yeah.
His body language, we can play this here, but the body language, it looks like somebody ran over his dog.
I think that at the end of the day, probably processing football, someone who can execute a passing offense, has mobility. So that's probably the macro. There's a lot more variables that go into it, but that's the macro, I would say.
Yeah, for the radio audience, I would urge you to watch that presser last night if you haven't seen it yet. It doesn't say anything. He's not even engaged at all. I don't know. I mean, That's absolutely bizarre. And we'll expand on this coming up in about 20 minutes. But
Yes.
again, Chris Felica had him, I think, at 15-1 to go there.
30-1 yesterday.
That's a very 30-1 yesterday.
Yeah, we talked about it on the air.
Yeah.
Right before you got off the air, you say, give me something crazy that's going to happen. He said Simpson and
Was
the
it?
Rams.
It was 30-1. I know. I laughed at you.
It's
I
30-1.
I wrote it in my journal last night. Paulie had made me laugh today on the show. What an idiot! I can't believe those words came out of his mouth.
Yeah, I know. How about it? I can't believe it. And this is also, the people, he's going to work, they're going to work wonders with this kid. I mean, he's not going to be there.
Oh,
That's the thing. He's gone when Stafford retires, and he's not on board with this and thinks he told Kay Adams March 30th, you know more about the kid than I do. Come on. That clip's out there.
and we went through this with the Rams a couple of years ago when we didn't know if he was going to come back as the coach. That dude would land a gig wherever he would want in media, and he would be an absolute superstar.
Yes.
Talking about games in NFL 365 days a year. And he wouldn't have to stress being a head coach at all. Wow. It's the Packers taking Jordan Love all over again at the time. And I will recap exactly how that went again coming up in about 15, 20 minutes on the show.
Yep.
So now tonight,
The Cardinals will take Carson Beck.
and that's plus 950.
Yes.
And what a reach that would be.
No kidding. But you're going to have the highest paid running back now with the biggest contract right off the board when you're already set at the position. Why not double down?
Yep. Opta AI projections have nailed two players in consecutive nights in the playoffs with their strongest edges. They're high on two players in the same game tonight. Find out who next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. Thanks for watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. We will begin this hour with more NFL draft talk now. We go out to the Progressive guest line. Longtime friend of the show, and not a one-time Hall of Famer, a two-time Hall of Famer. The great Sal Paolantonio joins the program. Sal Pal, how are you, my buddy?
Mitch and Paulie, I missed you guys.
Same
I'm glad
here.
to be back on the show. I'm glad to be back on the show. I'm so happy to be back with you. And, after day one of the draft, got to do it. Got to happen.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's begin the team that you've been close to now forever, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. What did you make of them trading up to 20 and then taking wide receiver Mekhi Lemon? Your thoughts on how he's going to work in the offense?
Well, how he's going to work? Let's start with the positive. How is he going to work in the offense? I think he has a chance to be good in the offense. They have a lot of new wide receivers and a new offensive coordinator and new nomenclature and new blocking structures and scheme, a lot of new stuff. And how he can be a playmaker there, I think he has his chance to do that. But I don't like the idea that they gave up 2 fourth-round picks and they gave them up to a division rival to move up just a few spaces in the first round to take Mekhi Lemon. Now, I understand that Howie Roseman said afterwards that Mekhi Lemon was one of those players in the top 15 that were worth going up for and trading for. I don't like that. The other thing is now you got all these wide receivers and you drafted a wide receiver and your leverage in a trade with the New England Patriots to A.J. Brown is evaporating slowly but surely. I mean, if I'm Elliott Wolf, the GM of the Patriots, and I'm saying to Howie Roseman, well, listen, why should we give up anything for it? You got to get rid of A.J. Brown now. Your wide receiver room has no room left in it. You got to get rid of him. We're not going to give you a first-round pick. That's just not going to happen.
Sure.
So I did not necessarily like the position The other thing is they have not had great success with West Coast wide receivers coming to Philadelphia. Nelson Aguilar, Jace J. Arcega-Whiteside, Freddie Mitchell. Go down the list.
But
It has
Deshaun
not
Jackson,
been-
he was one.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson, but he was an outlier, no question. That was a long time ago, by the way, in a galaxy far, far away. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking the last 10 years. I mean, Deshaun Jackson's my guy now. I love Deshaun Jackson, but listen, in this offense, what matters most is the scheme, and they want to get guys that they can put into the scheme. This guy's different. He's a shot maker, and he wants to call his own shot.
Mm.
And he also wants to think he can create his own shot. And he's also going to want the football. And so I think this is I'm going to put it this way. I think it's a scary pick. It could work out big, and it could be a big bust. Either way. It could go
Well
either
said.
way.
Well said. Expand. It's happened before, but can you expand on your thoughts of division rivals trading and helping out your division rival? And then how do you?
I don't necessarily like it. I don't like trading within the division necessarily. It has happened before, and it has happened between Stephen Jones and Howie Roseman. But the idea that you would give up so much, because of the 8-minute limit in the first round, guys had to move fast. You got to make a decision and pull the trigger. So I just view it as an impulsive, expensive move. 2 4th-rounders to go up that much. I mean, you need a lot of help in a lot of different spots. And I'm surprised that they did that. So now they got this guy, and there's no question he can play for sure. Doesn't drop anything. Super fast. Great competitive streak. I love everything about his game. He's very reliable. He's very consistent. He can return kicks and punts. So he's a tremendous talent. They gave up a lot for him. Let's see if it works out.
How about Dallas?
Yeah. Yep.
You like it for Dallas, what they did?
Well, listen, I thought you guys probably watched the NFL matchup draft special with Greg Cosell and Darius Butler. And I said on that show, and Butler and Cosell both agreed with me, that Caleb Downs was the number 1 defensive player. He was the number 1 defensive player in this draft, and for very specific reasons. The last 2 Super Bowls, gentlemen, were won by the Eagles, and they were won by Seattle. And in both cases, the diabolical game plan of the defensive coordinators using multi-dimensional, versatile defensive backs. Cooper DeJean, Nick Imiwari, and Caleb Downs fits exactly what you need right now in the NFL if you want to rush 4, drop 7. You got a guy who can play in the slot. Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator in Columbus, how did he use Caleb Downs last year? Same exact number of snaps at the line of scrimmage, in the slot, and rushing the passer, and also dropping in coverage. He used them all over the football field. He's an absolute matchup nightmare. He will solve matchup problems and create matchup problems. Fast, tough. I thought he would. For the Giants to pass up on that guy surprised me in so many ways, because John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with Ed Reed playing safety. It blew me away. I didn't understand it. He also won a Super Bowl with Ray Lewis playing middle linebacker, and he passed up on Sonny Styles.
Oh, it's funny you say that, because before you popped on, I was talking about if I could find Downs at 10-1 to win Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, that's going to be my first look for the Cowboys for sure. So you loved it for the Cowboys overall. Then it sounds like you did not like what the Giants did overall.
No, because they had Downs on their racket, and they should have taken him. I mean, Arvell Reese is he's a monster. There's no question about it. He was close to being a number 2 pick in the draft for a reason. He can play. He's a top 10 talent, top 15 talent in this draft. But he can't do what Downs can do. Downs can cover. Downs can stop the run. Downs can play deep center field. Downs can play against tight ends and wide receivers. Downs can stop the run on the outside, chase down running backs. Got the speed to do that, strong hands. I can't believe that the Giants passed up on Caleb Downs.
Okay. Let's go across, well, basically the same stadium. The other New York team, so to speak, with the Jets. They traded back in to get a third first-round pick and took Cooper, the receiver from Indiana. What'd you make of their three guys that they selected?
No, I really, I was there with the Jets all day yesterday and the day before. I liked the draft a lot that they had, quite a bit. Now, David Bailey over Arvell Reese was the choice, and it's for a very specific reason. When you see Bailey up close, and I have, he is a really impressive physical specimen. And I can understand why they fell in love with those physical traits in order to rush the passer off the edge. He basically eliminates a side of the field. And you have to basically get to the line of scrimmage and say, where's David Bailey? The quarterback's got to get to the line of scrimmage, look at the defense, and find Bailey. And if I were Bailey, I would have a nondescript number. All these defensive ends and edge rushers, they want 0, 5, 1, easy numbers to find. I would do something like, 23, whatever. So it's not easy. You see what I'm saying? Not identifiable. Easy when you get to the line of scrimmage, so you can hide the guy a little bit. But once he uncovers, he'll get after the quarterback. And they took the number one offensive player that I had in this draft in Kenyon Sadiq. And we said this on the matchup show. Sadiq is an absolute matchup nightmare. And I know Frank Reich really, really well from Philly. And I know how he wants to run that offense and help Geno Smith be productive again, and how he wants to run that offense long-term. He's got long-term plans in New York. He wants to say to the NFL, I'm not ready to put down my weapon. And he wants to, he does. I know him really well. Yeah. He is a super tough, competitive dude. And he is going to design this offense around Sadiq. I tell you, he ran a 4.39 in the combine, Kenyon Sadiq. That was the fastest of any tight end in 20 years. That was faster than, and I'm looking at it right now. He's faster than Carnell Tate, faster than Mekhi Lemon, faster than Jordan Tyson, faster than Denzel Boston, faster than Concepcion, faster than Omar Cooper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top wide receivers in my Hourlat scouting services that I get every year. Sadiq is faster than all of them. Big, imposing dude, will control and patrol the middle of the field. And then to jump back up and get Omar Cooper, I thought that was brilliant. And they stayed away from drafting Ty Simpson. What a disaster that pick was for the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, I totally
Thank you
agree.
very much.
Totally
you,
agree.
Sal Pal.
Give me 30 seconds more why the pick was so bad.
Well, you have Matthew Stafford. The three of us could figure this out if we were the GMs of that team. Matthew Stafford's 38.
Yeah.
They came close last year with a 37-year-old quarterback. Yeah. They've got Puka Nacua in off-season issues.
Yeah.
Get Stafford help.
Yes.
Either protect him or get him another. I mean, Mekhi Lemon at 13 would be perfect. All he has to do is go down the street and play football.
There you go. You're the best, Sal Pal. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the draft.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate you.
Sal Palantonio.
Who cannolis?
Hall of Famer twice over. Up next, tonight's playoff schedule. Home teams have really taken care of business. I'll give you the numbers you need to know next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in today. We're live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. In 15 minutes, we're going to get to your reaction from the draft last night. It is all over the map. People love it. People don't love it. The new format last night with the 8-minute picks. Jonathan Davis joins the program now. We'll get some hockey bets out of him. But also, he was at the Kings game last night in L.A., taking on the Avalanche, and the president of the Rams was on board. JD, thanks for the time as always. When did you guys know that they were going to go Simpson 13th overall?
guys, I can't remember if it had already happened, but I think the question was that it was asked by a colleague of mine was, why are you here? And he just said, well, we knew who we were taking. We were taking Simpson. We felt that, there wasn't going to be that quarterback available to us next year in the draft. And, we'll let him learn the business, next year. And that was it. I was like, okay. Just seemed kind of odd to me that they were that fixed on a guy. And you guys addressed it earlier. Could have taken him later or trade down for him.
Yeah.
Yes,
Did
yes.
anybody ask him a follow-up
Yeah.
of, did you consider maybe trying to get out of 13? Because he was going to be there pretty much whenever last night.
It was, it was a very quick conversation,
Yeah, okay.
and we were more focused, on the game itself. But it was just more the shock of seeing him there, and it wasn't like he was doing a press conference. It was a casual conversation that took place in the press box last night,
And
and that's one of the best parts about covering the game.
Mhm.
It's not the game; it's who you run into and things you learn.
Absolutely. An observation so far, especially coming from a guy who's betting unders, there are way too many power plays here. Why are the officials so involved? This is not playoff hockey that I'm used to.
Yeah, I think what's happening is officials want to set the tone early. That would be my first guess. Let's not let things get away from us and have what happened, in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh in game number 3. So that would be my only rationale for why they're doing it the way they are. It's been even last night, there were a couple of calls at the game that I was at that you kind of wonder, what are we doing here?
Yes, absolutely. Are you surprised Tampa's favored in Montreal?
No, because I think you take a look at what where the price was when the games were in Tampa, and I don't think you're going to make that much of an adjustment for the Lightning. I mean, maybe the line was set too high to begin with, but it's Tampa, and I think that I think the books are trying to try to create that money going both ways. So not totally surprised, but definitely would be grabbing Montreal at plus money.
Okay. Overall, you have a bunch of bets, and it's available right now at vsin.com. You do this pretty much every day, Monday through Friday, throughout the entire season, including the playoffs. Run down some of the bets that you have made and that you would recommend for this game tonight.
Well, I think one of my favorites is Darren Radish of the Lightning to go over his shot total. He's got 10 in the series. 3.5 is his number. So he's had at least 4 in 4 consecutive games. And ever since Victor Hedman, the Lightning's number 1 defenseman, has been out of the lineup, he's been clearing that number on a fairly regular basis. So that would be one. Juraj Slafkovsky of the Montreal Canadiens had a hat trick in game 1. He's got 7 goals against Tampa this year. That's more than any other Canadian. He's got 6 against Andrei Vasilevsky of those 7. So I like him tonight for a goal because the Canadians are going to get they got last change tonight. That's a big help for them because Tampa's done a really good job overall of shutting down, Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. The two of them have combined for just 5 shots on goal in the first 2 games. So I'm targeting right now those two. Look, I've already got Nikita Kucherov for a point in every game, so I can lay off on that one. But I would go back to Montreal on the money line, and I would even sprinkle some pizza money on this game going to overtime. I mean, both, the first 2 games went to OT. 3 of their last 4 have gone to overtime overall.
There's going to be a raucous environment in Utah. Does Vegas bounce back? And could this environment, Utah, be too fired up when they come out early and they don't have it?
It could. I mean, I talked to one NHL player earlier today, and he was just saying, like, his first game, in the building, like he could barely feel himself breathe. And so you do wonder if they get too pumped up. But at the same token, these kids nothing seems to faze them. So the way I've approached this game, Logan Cooley loves to play against the Golden Knights. He's got 6 goals against them this year alone. He has scored in both games. He scored the first Utah playoff goal in franchise history. He scored the game winner in game 2. He's got goals in 6 of 8 career games against the Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm targeting him for a goal. I would even maybe see if you could get a point parlay prop of Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. I think you can get that at plus money or close to it. I think that's a good bet. And then Mark Stone, the captain of the Golden Knights, he scored in both games. He loves playing against Utah goalie Karel Vejmelka. He gets goals in 5 of 7 against Vejmelka, and he's got goals in 6 of his last 8 games. He's again taken off under John Tortorella.
JD, what do you think of Paulie? He's been playing a couple of these series like alt totals to the under. one of which would be this one, right? Vegas and Utah. The other one, Carolina and Ottawa, or nothing has basically happened in that series.
No, Buffalo, too.
Buffalo, okay.
Yeah.
Does it feel to you like this game's going to be like at 5-6 goals max in these games, even if it goes 7 games?
I think that, it's more.
I got to try to reconnect here with Jonathan Davis, VSiN's NHL betting expert here. So, yeah, clarify the exact series now.
Buffalo, Boston. Carolina, Ottawa could play 10 periods. They're not going to go over.
The way it seems.
Another 2-1 game, right?
And I thought this one was another one, too.
Under 6.5.
Under 6 and minus 150.
Yes, right. In the Colorado game. Been doing that. 2-1, 2-1, and then there were 3 goals late.
Right.
But it came 4-2. But it could have been, there's an empty net there, but you could have gone under 6.5 minus 160. But the Buffalo series, the Carolina series, I just don't see goals and under 6.5. No way.
Well, let me ask, and Jonathan Davis rejoins us now, VSiN's NHL betting expert, and you can read his plays at vsin.com. I'm looking at the story right now, and I think rightfully so here. You're expecting the exact opposite here in this Edmonton and Anaheim series. You're betting on a lot of positive outcomes in this game tonight, yeah?
Well, look, both teams to score 3 to me is the way to target the over. I'm not interested in laying the minus 140, minus 150 on over 6.5. I don't, why do it with 7? We're going to get to 3, I believe, for both teams. So I like that at plus money. And then look, I would even, if you like Edmonton to win, then just play Edmonton's team total over 3.5. That's another way to go. Prop wise, the Oilers' second line of Podkolzin, Kapanen, and Draisaitl has tormented Anaheim through the first 2 games. So I would look at Podkolzin and Kapanen, play their assistant goal props. You get them at plus money. You may split on I think you'll get at least 2 of the 4 bets, and you come away at plus money. Cutter Gauthier from Anaheim, an anytime goal. I mean, this is the guy. He's the 4th Duck in franchise history to score 40 the last game. He's got goals in 11 of his last 14 at home. I love Gauthier for a goal tonight. And the other one that I was targeting for, Lacombe of the Anaheim Ducks, an assist machine. You can still get him at plus money, guys. He's got an assist in 7 of his last 9 against Edmonton. He's got an assist in both games in this series. And if you want, sprinkle on his goal prop at plus 700.
This might be a fluke, but we have 3 series that are 3-0. Would you tinker with the format if you were the league, or is this a fluke?
Well, Gary Bettman will never tinker with the format. This is his baby, and he won't. I mean, I would. 3-0. I mean, look, the only series that would have stayed the same if you went 1 versus 8 was Colorado, LA. But none of the 4 series in the East would have the same matchups in a 1 through 8. And so, yeah, I'd like to see 1 through 8, but the league's argument has continued to be that, our history has shown us that we've had longer series since we switched to this format.
What do you expect out of those teams tomorrow then? Does Carolina finish it off, and do the Flyers finish it?
Yeah, well, I think Ottawa, they're in a world of hurt. They, Jake Sanderson, their number 1 defenseman, went down in game number, in game 3. Some will say that it was because of a hit from Taylor Hall. But I think it was actually he tried to block a shot with his open hand and with his glove on. But that's when he left the ice during after a 5-on-3. So I think that, they're in a world of hurt. Mm-hmm. Game 3 was their opportunity. They've only got 3 goals in the series, guys.
Yes.
In the other series, in the NFL, we always like to take Ed McCaffrey for an anytime touchdown. I mean, it's money. Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars is money when it comes to goals and playing Minnesota. 17 goals, guys, in 22 games against the Minnesota Wild. He scored in both games. So I like the over in that series. And then the Flyers, yeah, I think it's over. I mean, it's just the Penguins play roller hockey. The Flyers play playoff hockey. And playoff hockey's winning out.
Well said.
I like that. I just tweeted his story out for tonight's games with his best bets at Mitch Moss Radio. It's up at vsin.com. JD, thanks for the time. You're awesome. And best of luck with the bets tonight, okay?
Guys, I'll be in town tomorrow for the weekend. Looking forward. Maybe we'll stumble into each other.
You got it.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
I do like the Dallas game over. All 3 games have gone over, and it's only a 5.5.
Well, how about those numbers on Robertson?
Well, I know. That's great. And he's been on it every day. But a lot of viewers have sent emails in about, you know what to do with this Dallas series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a ton of goals.
Up next, a lot of reaction coming in on the league tinkering with the NFL draft last night. I'm surprised by how many people are saying this. Pick it around next on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
You know it. It's time for the Meat Man. A lot of fun now with only 2 games left in the lower leagues. So look at all your playoff scenarios. Look at the table standings, relegation, playoffs, all of it. And to break it down, it's the Meat Man, Steve Wiss, on the Progressive Guest Line at Meat Man Soccer on X. And Because We Win, Potty does a fantastic job. First of all, how about Leicester City in a 10-year span to go from winning the Prim to only the 5th club to suffer back-to-back relegations? 140 years of existence, now make it 2 years they're going to be in League One. How does this happen, Steve?
Well, hi, Paulie. How are you doing? Really well. I mean, Leicester, it's not boring being a Leicester fan since the start of the 21st century. They've won plenty of things. They've had plenty of downs. They've been down at this level before. You know, just a few years before they won the Premier League, they were in League One. So the problem this time is that they are taking down on the salaries on the roster is incredible. Some of the players are being massively overpaid. So they've got to sort out their financial future and position over the summer. I have heard rumours that it's almost like they need to immediately come back to the Championship at the first possible attempt. Otherwise, they could be in major financial trouble down the line.
Wow. On the flip side, how about if Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds' club, could then go back to back promotions?
It would be sensational. And I've said it before, if and when Wrexham come up, they will throw a lot of money at the Premier League. Same with Birmingham City when they come up. It would be, well, literally a Hollywood movie, wouldn't it? This climbing up the divisions all the time. I just got a feeling they're not quite good enough this year. But you've got to be in the playoffs to win them, Paulie. That's the first thing. All these clubs in all the divisions have got to make sure they get in them first. And Wrexham, you know, if they're in there, it's 1 in 4 chance, isn't it?
That is. You're right. And they got a big match on Sunday. Let's start with the FA Cup. How about a total with Man City and Southampton? Take it away.
I just think Southampton might be a little bit more competitive here than some people think. They're actually unbeaten in 20 consecutive matches in all competitions. Okay, quite a lot of those games are in the Championship and it's a different league, and facing Manchester City is much harder. And I think that the unbeaten run probably comes to an end. But in a FA Cup semi-final, Southampton will give it absolutely everything here. They've got nothing to lose, no pressure on their shoulders. I think we're going to get a really open game and we could get quite a few goals. Manchester City might rest some players because really the main focus is still Premier League for them. You know, you might get some defenders given the day off. So Southampton, they've scored in every one of those 20 games, by the way, so they can contribute to a goal tally here. 3.5, over 3.5 goals, even money. Man City could cover it by themselves, but if Southampton get a goal or even 2 goals, then I think this total covers very, very easily indeed.
2 plays in the Chelsea and Leeds match. How do you see this one?
I've loved Leeds throughout this whole FA Cup run. I think I've given quite a few good picks out on Leeds in the FA Cup run, and I think Leeds can make the final. So Leeds to qualify, plus 135. I think it's a great bet. It looked an even better bet on Tuesday night when Chelsea put in one of the worst performances I've ever seen from them against Brighton. And the next day they sacked the manager, Liam Rosenior, after 12 games. I wish Rosenior was leading them out of the tunnel at Wembley for this semi-final, because I'm absolutely convinced Leeds definitely would qualify then. I still think they've got a good chance because Leeds have a good record versus Chelsea this season. They beat them at Ellen Road 3-1 and they got a 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge. I think we're going to see a really good game. 2 old rivals who hate each other, a rivalry which goes all the way back to the 1970s. And I think we're going to see plenty of goals as well. Leeds and FA Cup goals have gone hand in hand this year. Said it before, there's no pressure on Leeds in the FA Cup at all. And it's made them play better, more entertaining, attacking soccer. So I think Leeds, again, a bit like Southampton, nothing to lose here, really. They can give it a good go. And I think they can pull the shock here against Chelsea to qualify. But we also get over 2.5 goals inside the 90 minutes there at minus 117.
That's the FA Cup on to the Premier League. Let's go Saturday. Number one, how do you see this playing out? Man City's $1.60 to win the Premier League, and Arsenal takes on Newcastle. It appears Arsenal's trying to do their best to blow this.
Yeah, but I think they got given a boost in midweek because Manchester City only beat Burnley 1-0. And I say only because a lot of people expected that to be 5 or 6. And now at the minute, both teams, Arsenal and Man City, are tied on the same number of points. And it's just goal difference which separates them. So basically, if both teams win all their remaining fixtures, it's about who wins the most. The biggest wins are going to count. So
good angle.
Teams now, obviously the first thing you want to do is win your game. But if you're in a position to rack up the score, you absolutely will do it if you're Arsenal. So I'm willing, and I wouldn't normally do this with Arsenal, to back them on a bigger handicap, minus 1.5 against Newcastle. So we need Arsenal to win by 2 goals or more. I just think now might be the time to get with Arsenal this weekend. Everyone's a bit down on them, saying, oh, they've bottled it, they've blown it. Let's see what they've got. Good teams respond usually, Paulie, and I think Arsenal have to be classed as a good team. Newcastle's form is awful. They've lost, I think, 8 of their last 11 games now in the Premier League. So it could be a good time to get at Newcastle. And rather than Arsenal just winning 1-0, I think this time they showed what they've really got in the Arsenal, weapons going forward, and maybe put 2 or 3 past Newcastle, who are in a really dreadful run of form.
Good angle. Can Tottenham beat Wolverhampton?
They can beat them. I'm not going to bet on them, though, and I think you'd have to have your head tested if you are going to bet on them. Because it's like, you're minus 150 territory now. I think you'd have to really take a good, long, hard look at yourself in the mirror the next day, wouldn't you, if you lost that bet? Do I think Spurs will win, though? Probably, because Wolves are that bad, but I can't trust them with monopoly money.
Sure. Okay, Monday, a total. You've been on plenty of overs with Man United. Another total with Man U on Monday. Take it away.
Yeah, possibly the best bet of the card, actually. I mean, I didn't get the overs with Man U last week, but the woodwork was hit 3 or 4 times against Chelsea. Over 3 on the Asian total here against Brentford. Manchester United could cover this goal line all by themselves. Brentford, though, they've got some really strong attackers themselves. In Thiago, they've got the second highest goal scorer in the Premier League. So that's a huge weapon which Man United are going to have to deal with. And the last time Man United played at home, of course, Leeds looked like they could score 4 or 5 against them. So I think we're going to get a really good Monday night football over here. At least 3 goals, you'll get the push on the Asian line.
What's this?
Manchester United, I've said it before, best side in, to watch as a neutral for entertainment and goals.
Yes. What's this future you recommend in the Premier League as Bournemouth sits in 7th place in the table right now? We're about 5 to 6 to 1. State your case here, please.
I really like Bournemouth to finish in the top 6, 5 to 1, because I watched them the other night against Leeds. So impressed with Bournemouth. They are incredibly well coached. They've got a great manager who's leaving at the end of the season, and their remaining fixtures, they do still have to play Manchester City at home, but the other 3 look very, very winnable. Chelsea are just, you couldn't back Chelsea at all to finish in the top 6. And Brighton's fixtures, I think, are a little bit more tricky than you think. And Brentford have still got to go to Manchester United, Man City and Liverpool, so I'm ruling them out. I think 6th place could end up getting the Champions League, and Bournemouth are well worth backing here at 5 to 1 in that market because they're playing possibly some of the best soccer in the whole league.
Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch Visa, the Sports Betting Network. Steve Wiss, our guest at Meatman Soccer on X. He's on the Progressive Guest Line because we win pod. League One, Saturday, Burton and Exeter City. And you're telling me their keeper scored a goal last week?
Yeah. Incredible. In the last kick of the game or last header of the game, Exeter's goalkeeper got them a draw, and they're fighting for their lives here, Exeter, down at the bottom of the table. I'm going to back them here to kick on from that momentum and get at least a point against Burton. Double chance at minus 125. What I don't get here is why Burton are around even money to win. They don't have to win. If Burton draw this game, they are safe from relegation.
Okay.
And if it ends a draw, Exeter will take it to the final match, whatever. So I think there's a good chance of a draw here exactly. But on the double chance, Exeter will look really good, and they can kick on from that goalkeeper goal last week and keep momentum.
And as I mentioned earlier, only 2 matches left in the lower leagues. They're all important now, and they're getting hardcore, but you've been on this club before. League 2, the Bristol Rovers against Cheltenham Town.
Let's keep riding this wagon. Bristol Rovers money line again. It's minus 140 now, but they've won 7 in a row. They've won 10 out of 12. This is one of the hottest teams in English soccer right now. I mean, earlier in the season, incredibly, they lost 10 in a row, Paulie. But they've completely turned that around. No pressure on their shoulders, in mid-table, but they are like a train right now. And, Cheltenham, nothing special whatsoever. I've been following, like I say, Bristol Rovers have been a bet on every week on this show recently, haven't they? So I'm not going to desert them now. I think they'll win all the remaining matches. And they're playing possibly, say, some of the best soccer in League Two with no pressure on their shoulders whatsoever. No-brainer bet, and has to be one of the best bets of the week.
Great to talk to you. Looking forward to next week when you'll have all the scenarios and playoffs and relegation and all of it with the lower leagues. You have a good weekend. We'll talk soon, Meat Man. Good luck.
Cheers, Paulie. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one next week. Have a good one.
You too. There it is, the Meat Man, Steve Wiss at Meat Man Soccer on X. Up next, what we're betting, and we'll recap Follow the Money with all the in pocket with all the plays and recap the draft, and we'll look ahead to round 2. 49ers on the clock in 20 minutes. Will they stick and stay, and what are they going to do? That's coming up next. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.